Warning: this site contains thought-provoking content. Enter a world of sight, sound, and intellectual stimulation. No reactions, rather informed opinion and recommendations on the best in music, books, art, and pop culture. Love it or hate it, your opinion is welcome. Now, enter the recommendation zone to see what I, Scott, have to recommend. If you like the content that I'm providing, please like, subscribe, and notify so you don't miss any new content. It'll help us a lot, and it doesn't cost you anything. For more information on the performers and songs I'm recommending, please go to the description. I will always put links and information there for you. Hi, welcome back. Today, I'm going to be recommending Playing with Fire, the first book in R.J. Blain's magical romantic comedy with a body count series. This is both the first book in the overall series and the first book in a 3-volume arc featuring the protagonist, Bailey Gardner. Imagine an Earth where magic runs rampant. Divine beings roam the earth. Headless angels cannot show their faces lest you be smited to death. Incubi, demons, devils. Yes, there is a difference. The devil, and he's nothing like what you saw on TV. So Tom Ellis would be an interesting casting choice. Gifters, squares, gargoyles, unicorns, and pixies. Let's talk about pixies. They produce an intoxicating dust and strains from, "That's nice," to, "Yes, master, I will do whatever you want, however you want." It's classified as a drug and under severe government regulation. But you don't have to imagine it. R.J. Blain already has. This is the setting for her magical romantic comedies with a body count series, 23 books strong and counting. They are everything that title implies. Bailey Gardner is a mild-mannered barista serving coffee mixed with various grades of pixie dust at a Manhattan coffee shop for which he's licensed to handle. Wait, Bailey is not at all mild-mannered. She's called the Calamity Queen, and with good reason. Why, when she tried to do handsome Police Chief Samuel Quinn a favor, he wound up getting divorced. So why is Manhattan's most wanted bachelor hanging around the coffee shop? And why did he just leave with her boss? And why is his former brother-in-law trying to hire her? And the action and hilarity take off from there. Here are some short samples.
But that didn't stop people from coming to me when they needed something found. Fortunately, I liked my job as the only human barista at Fairy Fortune's coffee and book shop. Most came for a cup of joe and left too buzzed to read a thing. But who was I to complain? People paid top dollar for their pixie dust-infused latte, and they tipped me well not to judge them. Unfortunately, I wasn't so fond of Chief Quinn. When he walked through the door, bad things usually happened to someone. Me. For him to come in 5 minutes after opening, long before the sun even thought about rising, he needed something, and it wasn't a cup of coffee. Why couldn't he want coffee? I could deal with making him a drink, and I'd double his dose of pixie dust to keep him happy. And if my panties hadn't caught on fire under my jeans, I'd be very, very surprised. "You're drooling, Gardner," my boss squeaked. The moth fairy, with just enough pixie heritage to dust glitter when she wanted, fluttered over my shoulder, her tiny arms crossed over her chest. "Reverse cowgirl." "Stop reminding me," I wailed, slumping over the counter. He hates me. Worse, all I think about when he struts in is taking off my clothes and giving him my panties. I think they caught on fire this time, Mary. Why couldn't he have had one of his cops find his wife instead? You just want to indulge in some guilt-free fantasizing like every other hot-blooded American woman in the city. Exactly. This is why no one in their right mind asks me for help. I ruin everything. The polite, professional me took over, and still smiling, I chirped. Is there something else I can get for you, sir? How about a murder? His. I could do that. I had a spoon within easy reach. Surely I could kill someone with a spoon. I blamed my bad Monday morning shift for my inclination towards violence. I'm a vanilla human, Mr. McGee. Sorry. On paper, I was as vanilla as they got, with my only recorded abnormality, or talent as they liked to call magical abilities, being my immunity to pixie dust and a few other magical substances. Sometimes the cops called me in and paid me a cute little pittance to deal with some of the nastier substances, including Gorgon vomit. No one wanted that job, especially me. But since a Gorgon's bile didn't turn me to stone like it did everyone else...
I hope you enjoyed those excerpts from Playing with Fire. If you like those, get the book. Better yet, get all the books. In them, we have An Unexpected Ambush, Infectious Gargoyle Dust, Romance, More Danger, More Romance, A Fire-Breathing Unicorn, aka Cindercorn, who also happens to be Bailey, a horny police chief, more Gargoyle Dust, Gargoyle Vomit, Yuck, Gargoyle Sex, Double Yuck. Want to know what happens? Buy the books. Listen to the audios. Available at all major retailers. Now stay tuned, because we're about to have a question and answer with the author, R.J. Blain. So, viewers, you've heard me talking about the magical romantic comedy series, and you may be a little more curious than the information that I've given you. Well, how about we have a little chat with the author, and she answers some questions for us. I am pleased to bring you R.J. Blain, author of the magical romantic comedy with a body count series. She also goes by Susan Copperfield, Lilith Daniels, G.P. Robbins, Audrey Green, Bernadette Franklin, and a few other secret pen names that she hasn't revealed yet. It's not that she's schizophrenic, she just tries and write in a niche for each pen name. She writes a variety of different series. We have the magical romantic comedy with a body count series, this one, the Royal States of America, the Magic Mayhem and the Law in Precinct 53, Vigilante Magical Librarians, Witch and Wolf World, and several others. Welcome to the channel. I'm certain that you will be delighted to know that I'm curious. I don't know if the viewers are because this hasn't aired yet. So, a fire-breathing unicorn. Really? How exactly did this come about? Viewers, I do want to apologize. The first portion of RJ's answer to my first question got eaten by Zoom. She was kind enough to email me with the written response to that. I'm going to read it and then pick up where Zoom resumed. I picked fire-breathing unicorns due to a love of Dungeons and Dragons and mythology and fire. I don't remember precisely what sort of fire horses are in Dungeons and Dragons.
I can't remember what they're called, but they do exist, and I'm obsessed with all of the magical horses in Dungeons and Dragons. My DM doesn't let me get them as pets, though, and I find this to be unfair. But a lot of the Cindercorns came from a mix of mythology and just personal interests. Beyond that, I really like unicorns and fire, so I've mixed them together. Why I went the horse and goat route, I don't remember. I just decided horses were too boring, so I needed to do something like Well, the mythology is the lion tail on the horse. Let's go with goat. They don't have lion tails, but it's good enough and it's different and goats are cute. So that's about sums it up.
So, what inspired the use of the religious pantheons that make up so much of the settings of the series overall?
Culture. Uh the the global society as a whole is a mix of cultures, and at the heart of most of these cultures is some form of religion. In the United States, the religion is predominantly Christian. Uh, there are other religions, obviously. There's indigenous religions. There's Islamic. There is Jewish. There's a whole bunch of them. I think last time I checked, there's some like 100 plus different religions actively believed in the United States. It's not just Christianity. So when I went to approach the series, I was like, I went with the mindset that all of the religions are real. Let's roll with it. And so, because it's mostly in the United States, Christianity is the most common of the religions in the US. So that became the focal point since the book series is US centric. If I had done it in Africa, I would have used one of the African religions as the core. Because in the series, all religions are valid and the pantheons intermingle. So where you are at very strongly influences what religion's in the front seat.
And following up, the overarching theme of the series is heaven and hell teaming up to prevent Armageddon, the end of days. Is there significance that you've placed this serious theme into a comedy series?
No, I needed something that was applicable to Christianity and I needed to turn it on its ear, and in Christian religion they are fighting each other, not working together. So that's how I twisted it. I went with, okay, they're cooperating because this is one big whole family group. And the end of days is not something this religion wants because it ends them too. It ends family and loved ones.
There's not many bodies yet. Of course, more than one is really significant, but. Or were things like what happens to certain cities already figured in when you were naming the series? I know the series has a limited number of books left, ending with Heir to Hell. How deeply do you plot? Is it general outline and then fill in as the series progressed? Or were most things set in stone and you just wrote to suit?
I'm in between. I knew where the series is going to end because with a series this long and complicated, if you don't know, you're going off the rails. So I had a very strong guideline to where it was going. So I follow that general guideline. I can take tangents, and I have taken a few tangents. There are going to be two spin-off series. One has a book one out already. The other will not start until after this series ends. So the spin-off is already in place for in terms of where it starts. But I've decided I'm not going to actually do the spin-off until after the whole thing's done because they're not like once it spins off, it's not relevant to the conclusion of the series. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to confuse people. I'm just going to do it afterwards, and then they have a nice treat to work with. As for the overarching, like keeping it all together, the body count, there's been roughly 4.5 million bodies between the three cities and Wishing Wells activities. But the whole thing, it's written right in the back of the series descriptions on some of the books. So it's not really a spoiler. If they check out the back of the books, it's written right on the back of the books. But there are millions of corpses as a result of the series so far. But it's not named with the body count because of large scale corpses. It's named that way because my editor for the first book told me, you can't have bodies in romance. To which I replied, The series name is now with a body count. Yes, I can. So the body count is not meant to be a high body count. It's just playing off of romance novels typically don't have corpses. And in this one, there's usually at least one body in every single book in the series.
Though the body count part was specifically introduced as a contrasting element.
Yeah, let's talk about the body count because the romance tropes where there's not often body counts unless it's a dark romance, it's an interesting subject. So we can keep on the body count conversation, which is fun and interesting because it's different. I mean, people are doing it more now since I started it, but it was very much uncommon.
And this series has been around long enough that the term romantacy wasn't even coined as a marketing thing when you started writing the series.
And comedic romantasy with no sex on the page is rare. Actually, romantasy with no sex on the page at all is rare, which is why I started writing it.
So, why exactly did you start writing this series?
When I started the magical romantic comedies with the body count series, I wanted to make a friend happy. Her name's Diana Farrah Francis. I absolutely love her book. She's one of my favorite authors, and she was having a really rough time, problems with the family, etc. Also, this was before COVID. I'm trying to remember like the timeline because that was a long time ago. How has it been that long? But she was having a rough time, and I decided I was going to write a story just to make her laugh. And that's what started the series. So when I initially started it, okay, my friend needs to be cheered up. I want to do something fun. And so I started writing it. And when I start conceptualizing a series, I go, okay, here's the end game goal. Here's the start, here's the end. As long as I have those two components, I can make everything else in between work. But about halfway through this first book in the series, I was like, I need some bodies, man. And so I got some bodies. I added bodies. And then my editor at times like, you can't put bodies in a romance. I'm like, yes, I can. She's like, no, no, you can't. Bodies and romance don't mix. I'm like, bodies and romance mix. So it became this ongoing joke between us, especially in the first 5 books of the series, where I would just message my editor going, I added another body. And then when I got to the book where entire cities are going down, going, I added a lot of bodies. And so this went on for like at least 2 or 3 years. Every time I do a book, I'd message my editor, buddies. And so it's just the whole series name is an ongoing inside joke with my editor. And it just kind of snowballed from there. There were a couple of books where I had to sit down and think, how do I add a body to this? This is not really a body book. And then I'm like, okay, I know how to add a body. Blending in is the one I struggled most to add a body in because originally a couple of things didn't happen. And I went back and went, no, if I do this, I can add bodies in a very satisfactory manner. So, blending in, as a fun fact, was the hardest book to add bodies in, with Double Trouble being the second hardest. Because the main character in Double Trouble, she's just so innocent and sweet. She's not going to be making bodies, so I had to rely on everyone around her to make the bodies. Because sometimes you have these characters who just aren't interested in murder, and that does not help my cause at all. So when I have characters like that, I have to like Okay, the devil needs to come in and make me some bodies, please. And I can't count the number of times where I've gone, I don't know how to bring a body in. I'm just gonna bring Lucifer into it. He'll make a body for me just from coming onto the scene. And so I solved my problem that way. But there are books where I regret the series name being with a body count because I have railroaded myself into having at least one body in every book. There are some books that just didn't want bodies, and this kind of upsets me sometimes because the bodies are fun.
And what's the best part about writing this series?
The bodies are fun.
So, dream casting, who gets to play Lucifer?
Oh, dear Lord. This is going to sound so silly, but the guy who played Lucifer in Lucifer, I don't know his name, but the guy who played Lucifer in Lucifer, he's a perfect Lucifer.
So, the amazingly talented Tom Ellis, then. That's your Lucifer.
Yes, Lucifer from Lucifer. He's so perfect. Like I started laughing my butt off when I first heard about this series and how this character behaves because I'm going, did they read my books? Because that's really like Lucifer from my books. And fortunately, I predate this series. Otherwise, people would be accusing me of, did you? No, 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 no. It's just a trope, and this is a normal Lucifer trope. He's either this really mean bad guy, or like the Exorcist level horror Lucifer, or he's Lucifer from Lucifer. There's no real middle ground in this. He's either the biggest baddie, nasty thing, demon with the ugly and ew gross, or he's sex on a stick and funny as hell.
So, when is the next one in the series coming out? Because viewers will want to know.
According to Polecats, the next installment of the magical romantic comedy with a body count series is coming out on May 11th, 2027. The pre-order just went live. It'll be it's currently up for pre-order everywhere except Kobo. Kobo can't go up for pre-order until like the whole book is finished, polished because of system errors with Kobo right now. So but beyond that, it's up for pre-order, and Lucifer will be back, as will a bunch of the other cast, and we will be revisiting the FBI and the CDC.
I'd like to thank RJ for taking the time to come on and chat with us. Readers, if this sounds interesting to you, the books are available at all of your major retailers. If you're interested in the audiobooks, RJ has them available on both her Patreon as well as at major retailers. Thank you again, RJ. It's been nice having you.